Hi, I'm Alan, and this is my 4th or 5th vlog. Anyway, this vlog is going to be entirely about Starcraft 2, so if you don't play Starcraft, you can probably not listen to this because it won't make sense to you. So anyway, I was doing some thinking, right, and I realized that the easiest ways to play, the easiest ways to pick up as a newbie is Protoss. Okay, now I was making it clear that I'm not saying that Protoss is the easiest way to play, because that's a different thing altogether. Okay, high level players have different opinions about this, so I won't talk about that. Talking about picking up as a newbie, as a person who is entirely new to the game. Okay, Protoss is the easiest. Okay, and I'm gonna explain why I think so. So first, I think Zerg is the hardest. Okay, why do I think so? Because as a Zerg, let's say you are not doing a typical, like let's say you're playing a typical game and you're not doing some cheese or some random cheese build that doesn't work. If you want to get to a high level, you have to learn how to play 2-base, meaning fast expand. Okay, and playing a fast expansion build means that you have to learn how to macro and learn to handle like a bigger economy, which will be harder to learn. Okay, staying on one base will not help you win any games beyond the bronze level. And I assume that if you want to pick up a base, you want to actually learn it beyond the bronze level, right? So you need to go 2-base. And going 2-base has its other problems, such as how to defend against an early rush, how to defend against a 4-gate, how to defend against a 2x, that kind of things. There are a lot of different things that you must defend against, so that's another difficulty. Okay, and besides that, besides having to go 2-base, I think Zerg has the most difficult this thing I call what is it called? This economy mechanics. This thing I call the economy mechanics. Each race has their own economy mechanics. Okay, Protoss has chrono boost, Terran has muse or scans, and Zerg has, of course, inject lava. Now I think that inject lava is the most difficult economy mechanic to actually pick up. Okay, because let me explain why. Now, inject lava, right? If you miss your injects, it basically means you have a smaller army and smaller harvester count. Whereas compared to, let's say, Terran, if you miss your muse, it's fine, you can just drop 3 at once, or you can use it for scans, which is quite important. Protoss, if you miss your chrono boost, it's fine, you can use it for chrono boosting your upgrades and your units in the mid to late game. And in the early game for Protoss, you won't even be missing chrono boost because there's nothing else happening, so you should be able to get your chrono boost on time. So you will be able to keep up with chrono boost, and yeah, it won't really affect you much. But Zerg, on the other hand, you miss your injects, right? Your queen gets a lot of energy, and you're gonna just have those excess energy. You can't inject lava twice. I mean, of course you can have that energy for transfusion and stuff, but how often are you going to transfuse if, let's say, if you're not under attack, right? So yeah, so inject lava is actually the hardest thing to manage. And besides that, as I was talking about lava, as I mentioned, lava is probably one of the hardest things to manage as well. Okay, other races have the privilege of, or the benefit of having their harvesters being trained from their harvester building, and their army being trained from other buildings. But Zerg, you have to train both harvesters and units at the same time, and knowing how to delicately balance these two production, your harvester production as well as your unit production, is probably one of the most difficult things to learn as Zerg. Even up to the platinum level, there are players who are not very sure about when can they drone out, when can they get an army. So that is a very delicate matter that's hard to actually master, so it's not easy for new players to learn. Okay, and still talking about Zerg, when you are having an army, when you're engaging with an army, you have to go, like, you have to do a flank or some surround or something. You can't engage in a ball like the other armies. Compared against Terran, who can engage in a ball quite easily, but Protoss is probably the best case of being able to engage in a ball. You can just engage in a tight ball, you can just wipe everything else. It's ridiculous, right? Terran is maybe a bit harder, you can have to put up siege tanks and stuff, so it's not that easy. And Terrans have to spread their troops a bit for things like banelings and colossus, so yeah, it's not that easy either. So Protoss is the easiest. Protoss just move as a tight ball. You don't even have to do anything about like splitting up your units or anything. So you have to flank, and you have to like micro your units a bit better, positioning a lot better, and you have to like fight on creep. If not, you have quite a significant disadvantage if you can't move your units fast enough. So that's for Zerg. Why Zerg is the easiest. Now I'm going to mention why I think Protoss is actually easier than Terran. Right? Terran, in a typical game, the typical beginner build is Marine Marauders Medics. Right? You are producing 3 buildings. You have to handle 3 different production buildings on top of your at your command centers on top of getting your SCVs and stuff. Whereas Protoss, the typical build is probably like gateway units, 4 gate. You're just using one production building. And let's say you advance to a higher level, you get like warp gates plus robotics facility units like Immortals, Colossus. You're producing just 2 buildings. Okay, very rarely do you actually get 3 production buildings, like including a Stargate. Of course, at a higher level you do, but you can pretty much go to Platinum, at least to Diamond, maybe, with just Gateway Robo build all the way. You can pretty much do that. I'm quite confident of that. So it's so easy to pick up, like you have much easier to produce your units. Like the problem of having too many production buildings is because like experienced players will know that it's not a good thing to stack units in their production. Like to get like train like 2 units at once is a waste of resources. So Terran probably face this the most, and sometimes they just can't produce fast enough to deplete their resources, whereas Protoss can just get a few more warp gates and just warp everything in at once. Talking about warp gates, Terran and Zergs need to rally their units, but Protoss can just warp them in anywhere. It's so easy. Like if your minimal line is under attack, if you're pylon, then just warp in the units there and defend. It's so simple. And yeah, talking about so that's why Protoss is easier than Terran. It's easier. Oh yeah, okay. Now comparing the 2 economy mechanics of Protoss and Terran. Okay. For Terran, as I mentioned before, even if you miss a few meals, you can just drop them all at once. It doesn't affect you at all. Okay, wait, that's not what I wanted to say. Yeah, if you miss your meals and stuff, you can drop them, but it doesn't help you get economy faster. I mean, it doesn't help you get more economy. It just gets you your minerals faster. Okay, and if you miss and you let your energy get stocked up too high, the only way you can utilize it is for scans and meals, right? But for Protoss, if you miss your chrono boost, you have a lot of energy, just chrono boost your production buildings or your upgrades. You're constantly getting that. So it's so much easier than, it's not that much of an issue to actually miss your chrono boost. And anything else I want to say? Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the engaging stuff, Protoss can engage in a ball. Use like Colossus, warp gates, can easily wipe out a Terran MMM army. And Terran has much more things to do, like drops and stuff. So Protoss is just so easy to play. Protoss is the easiest to pick up. So if you're a newbie and you are deciding what ways to choose in playing Starcraft 2, go and pick Protoss, alright? That's all I have. Well, it's quite long actually. I didn't intend to talk for so long, but yeah, okay, thanks for listening. Bye bye.